In this week's Signal Emitted, we will be taking a look at a game Blender made, the results of the community poll, a creator spotlight, a tool of the week, and a tip of the week. Welcome to Signal Emitted, your weekly news show for Godot related news. I'm Voylin, and let's go straight to the first topic, which is a game which the Blender studio made inside of Godot. Yes, Blender from the big 3D modeling tool. DOGWALK is a free game available on Steam and itch with a stop motion style. You don't actually play as a girl, but you play as the dog. This papercraft style handcrafted world makes this a very beautiful and relaxing game to play. Stroll through the snowy forest and collect objects to build your snowman. This microgame, as they call it, was made within 4 months. And to have some extra behind the scenes info on this whole project, you can visit the Godot blog post in which 2 of the creators answered some questions about the project. I have been following the development of this game for some time, and I really think it became a very nice and relaxing game to play. This game was made exclusively by using open source tools, and the source code is even available, although for a small fee you can get it from their website. And be certain to give it a play because, again, it's free. Get it on Steam or itch, or through their website as well, I think. And for this week's sponsor, I don't have a sponsor. I will not even promote my own stuff, except for a link to a form you can fill in if you want to fill in this sponsor slot for future episodes. If you're interested, fill out this form and I'll try to reply to you as soon as possible. Because the view count is still kind of low, yeah, you probably won't pay too much. And let's go to the creator spotlight. For this week, I present to you DevWorm. DevWorm has as goal to teach people game development by using the Godot game engine. And he has a lot of nice tutorials ranging from just a couple minutes long to tutorials of over an hour long. This creator has a big focus on 2D related games, but this knowledge can also transfer to 3D projects. This is by no means a small creator sitting at over 50k subscribers. But I do enjoy his content and it's worth checking him out and subscribing. With over 130 videos, I'm certain that there's enough to watch and learn from. Link will be in the description as usual. And due to my time being short, more on that at the end of this video. This week is a little bit shorter on information, there's also not that much that happened, but the Community Poll 2025 has closed. So let's go over some of the details, which may help you as a Godot creator or a tool and asset creator. Now, first of all, the responses this year were a little bit less than last year, but the results are still something that we as creators can learn from. As usual, most creators who switched game engines come from Unity. Not surprising, and I think many people can agree. But the key takeaway from this is that most of these people are used to having a good asset store. So the moment the asset store of Godot improves and becomes more publicly available, this could mean that the plugin and asset creators among us may have a better chance on increasing our income. The amount of self-employed people using Godot has increased by 2%, showing that it is possible to become a full-time indie developer. So here's some motivation. You can do it. Godot is still mostly used for 2D games, which again is helpful for asset creators to play into, but 2D games are also on the rise. The amount of applications being made with Godot is however slightly shrinking. Looking at the skills of the average Godot developer, you can see that there are a lot of areas people lack skills in. Everybody's a good developer, but the moment it comes to art, people start lacking skills. So maybe you can focus on increasing one of those skills and market your newly gained skills to other developers. The game categories section tells you as a developer which games are being worked on the most. So it might be a good idea to avoid categories that have a lot of people working on games and choose one of the less active categories for your next game to increase your chances of standing out. Besides people releasing their games for free, Steam became the #1 platform, followed by itch.io to sell games. Which in the previous year was actually the opposite because itch.io was in the lead at that time. Direct sales are still the best revenue source according to creators, followed by donations, which makes sense since a lot of games are being released for free nowadays. Releasing for the Steam Deck is seeing some high interest. Could it be that developers will finally bother with having a Linux release? Or will they still be lazy and avoid Linux altogether as if the platform does not exist and just depend on Proton from Steam to make the games function? I personally think that having a Linux build could help your game to grow even more, but hey, Over 71% of Godot developers work alone, so creating tools for developers working alone to decrease their amount of work could be a helpful area to explore if you're into making tools. The amount of GD extensions being used which are being developed by other creators is increasing. I can speak from experience that it is an area which can be worth exploring as it does give a good extra income stream. Just be ready to deal with some of the issues which come when making a GD extension, as it can be quite a headache. 66% of the Godot developers use plugins or add-ons, which is 4% higher compared to last year. I've said it before, but earning with Godot is not only done by making games. Do take in mind that most of these plugins and add-ons being used are probably downloaded for free from the asset library. Blender and Aseprite are still the kings of external tools for game development. Creating assets by using these tools and giving their original files could help with your sales. Or maybe you can explore the opportunity of making tools for those tools to work more easily together with Godot. It could also be an option, but that's kind of getting confusing. Now I'm certain that there's more information that you can probably get from this poll that could be helpful to you, so give it a watch, link in the description. And let's do things a little bit differently this week. For this week we have a tool of the week, and I present to you RPG in a Box. RPG in a Box lets you create RPG games in an easy and straightforward way. There's a voxel editor, a map editor, visual scripting, dialogue system, camera system, UI, customization, item creator, and a sound effects system, all built in within this tool, which is great. This is also a perfect example of an application that is still being made within Godot 3, though there are plans to switch that to Godot 4 in the future. Now, updates to this tool are not as frequent, but every couple of months there's still an update with some extra stuff. So it is still actively being worked upon. So if you want to make RPG games in an easy way, maybe check out RPG in a Box. And then for this tip of the week, I have for you Propagate Call, which is a built-in function of Godot, which somehow I did not know about until last week. But it is a very helpful function. What it does is go through all child nodes to see if a function is present, which is identical to the string entered as an argument. If found, the function gets called. Want to go over all functions in your scene? Use get3.root.propagateCall. Now I've slowly been adding this functionality to Gozen because it did improve a couple of areas of the editor, of the video editor that I'm making. So yeah, be certain to play around with it. Maybe it can help you with your projects. And that's it for this episode. I'm cutting this week's episode a little bit short because from tomorrow I'll be at Bit Summit, a game convention in Kyoto, for the next 3 days. I will be busy. I won't have enough time to work on other videos. If you go to Bit Summit for whatever reason, try to find me. And before I go, a big thank you to all my Ko-fi supporters for supporting the making of these videos, the upcoming tutorials, the work that I do on my video editor. Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much for watching this episode. If you want to see more of these weekly Godot news videos, be certain to subscribe. They're weekly. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye. Also, if you have any suggestions for next week's video, put them down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.